So here is my Warhound Titan. I've been asked how did I do the magnets holding cables from the head and the guns onto the body. This head has magnets underneath, and these little rods have magnets either side. The spring itself is obviously flexible, which allows movement of the head. This slot right in nicely. The gun, 2 magnets on the back. The ends have to be adapted. This is the old style, the 45 degree. Here's the changed style at 90. The 90 will allow a better angle on the gun. Or should I say, a better angle for the pipe to use for the gun. A better angle at the back here, as you can see. For some odd reason, they decided to make it this angle, which even when rotated could be a pain. So these are the corresponding sockets with magnets in them as well. Simple. 8mm by 1mm magnets are inside each of the gaps. These two are the old style. Just for an example. So slot them on. The only way they would really work is if the cable was facing out or in. For a bit of movement though, they'll just start popping off. So it needs to be a different angle. That's why I have modified these. To allow a bit more freedom of movement. So we use 3mm inside the spring, 6mm on the end, and then an 8 in the socket. So you got a couple of 3mm with a 6mm on the end. I normally put 4 or 5. And then this will slot inside the cable, like so. I put multiple 6mm magnets in the ends of these. That drill bit you saw earlier was a 6mm as well, which I just used to by hand twist it and just clean the hole up, ready for the magnet. Just make sure it's nice and flush. So this is the cable in question, bought on Amazon. $5mm. Is exactly what we need to put this in there. So what we do, so with these end pieces, we're going to have to make them 90-degree angles. So we're going to have to first nicely cut both of them so we've got somewhere to work with. Don't worry about too much clearing them off too much. The dust will probably actually help the glue in a minute, just to help set it all. It's easier just to put the magnet in the one side just for now. We'll be putting the spring in the other side of these. So now we just need a little bit of glue. And just hold it in place. Make sure it's where we want it. Once we've glued these, we'll let them harden for a couple of minutes while we get another job done. So that's complete. We'll have them sticking to each other. Or just leave them stuck to each other. Now, this cord, spring, put bare glue in the end. And with a couple of magnets, I'm going to slot them in, slide that end one off, just going to score the back of it, put a drop of glue on the end, just give it a little bit extra just to hold in place. Don't forget, these are not meant to hold a terrible amount of weight, so that glue is just basically to hold it central. Everything else is just the magnet. Now we need to cut it to the same length, so I'm just going to use this as a guide. And once we've got the right length, start on the next one. Right, now it's time fill in the cable with cable. I'm just going to use this old USB cable. It's a little notch there. And what I'm going to do is just stick it in the end of this spring. So when we glue it into one of those sockets, or whatever you want to call it, conduit and whatnot, it will give it a better surface area to stick. It'll be a bit stronger for it as well. The spring won't try to pull itself apart. It'll be one solid unit. So now we just need to fill it with a bit of milliput or green stuff, whichever you got to hand. We'll chop this one down the size as well. Sure it's sturdy enough. I like to put a bit of extra glue in these sockets because they're going to be moving about and stuff like that. I'd rather just a nice solid. Now for the milliput. I speeded this bit up because, yeah, as fun as it is to watch some new milliput, there's a million better people that can do it than me. So just chucked a bit in the gap and just slowly smoothed it down, remembering to just always keep everything wet when you're working. So, the two on the right are the normal ones, and then all the rest of them have been modified. Obviously, except for the short two, for the head. So, basically, you could use anything. It doesn't have to be springs, it could be rope, it could be cable, it could be anything you can get your hands on that would look good. You could do all sorts of cabling and stuff like that. I haven't tried to do cables yet and stuff like that, like a USB cable, but it would be the same principle. You just need to get those connections all sorted out. Well, it's just one more way of doing it. I just didn't like the whole concept of not leaving, well, just leaving the cables out because they were resin, because I wanted to be able to move the guns, or the head for that matter. Just gave it a little bit more that you could do with it, and that includes different guns. You know, if I go to put a different gun on here now, it's just magnets in the gun and the cables just click on the next one. So I hope that helped. Hope it actually inspired someone to think, ooh, I could do something like that. Thanks for watching.